Some might have tried, and it might have been fucking difficult and hard. And now you've just grown up to think, dickhead, you weren't there.
You touched on it earlier, nearly wanting to give up. And I want to talk more about that. Because there'll be men and there'll be women feeling that. They will feel the energy of men wanting to give up and them taking that from a totally different perspective from where it's actually coming from for the man. So I want you to touch on what you mean by nearly wanting to give up.
Do you know what I used to say in college? Yeah, like I had mine. I had a good mine were together until man was like 16. It's like I don't want to say too much, but at the same time that's nothing. Until I was 16. So when I hit college and that now, and then I'm starting to meet different people and that, and it's like man don't even know mine or mine's a dickhead or ain't seen mine in ages. I used to always say like, cool, I'm coming from a privileged standpoint, but I'm like, I always used to say from then, do you know your dad's side though? I don't know what made me tune into that from then, but I used to say, do you know your dad's side? Nah, that's pissed to hear that. It does sound a bit mad, but have you ever asked or one day you might find out that side? So there are some that I'd like to know what makes you give up. So to put it, it comes across as giving up.
Yeah.
What made you stand back then? What made you stand back? And I know people that can go through situations where it's a case of, bro, man's gone there to collect, and there's beef at the door. Like mum's come and said this and said that, and there's a problem. Now my kids are seeing what's going on. Now I'm causing them stress. I might just stay away. I'm not gonna come to collect. Or over the phone, yeah, can this happen? Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, no. The bike's loud. But then they might have a whole elaboration and bring up something else, and it's like, I just wanna just handle my business. Let me just handle my business. So sometimes my point is, it can get to a point where I don't even want to stress you anymore because you need to take care of mine. They're in your custody right now. I don't want to stress you. So let me stand back. And they might stand back. And before you know it, yeah, I got
It's
kids,
2-3 years they're standing back.
Yeah, I got kids, man. Like, yeah, man, I'm sure they're alright.
I know a lot. We can talk to a lot of people.
The children have grown up saying, that's a dickhead, dad weren't there. But do you know like what it might have cost? It might have cost. Pops might have tried. Might have. It might not have. There are some that definitely waste, man. I'm gonna agree with them on that. Handle your business. But some might have tried. And it might have been fucking difficult and hard. And now you've just grown up to think, dickhead, you weren't there. I think conversations should be had in it. That's what I'm saying. Conversations need to be.
I think we need to have conversations with dads that have. We need to have conversations with dads that have given up and tried. And
given up and tried.
Yeah, and conversations with dads that just didn't.
No, but how 100?
Because like why did you decide not to?
Yeah.
Like personally, I had a dad that never gave up like that. My dad, as I said, my dad was present. He wasn't there the deal was to be there every Sunday, every weekend. He wasn't. Do you know, Dad is cool. Like, I weren't mad at you. No, I weren't, because I'm not gonna lie to you, whenever my dad showed up, it was the most exciting thing that happened in my life.
Yes.
I'm just gonna let you lot know that. Like, and my dad was that dad that would be like, you see this window here, you lot might not be able to see it, but he's that dad that would just whistle from the window. And I always knew what that whistle sound. I knew what that whistle meant. It meant my dad was here.
Yeah.
And sometimes he would just whistle from the window on a Monday. It wasn't a Sunday.
Yeah, what?
You know what I mean? After school, just surprises and then land with a £20. Are you mad? £20? When I was like 10. My dad land with a Ziggs. Ziggy is my nickname from my dad. Ziggy. I don't understand why he calls me Ziggy. It's tattooed on my shoulder here. Like that one of my brothers is Nugsy, but his name was Nyron. His name is Nyron. So Nugsy makes sense. Like Nyron, Nugsy, that's my dad. He has a nickname for every one of his children.
Don't even question it.
It's not question it. Like everyone calls me Ziggy now. It's
priceless to him.
All my siblings, I'm Ziggy. You understand? Because my dad calls me Ziggy.
Yeah.
So I would hear Ziggy. Come down there. Ziggs. And I'm like, he can only be my dad. I just look out the window, just see my dad. Son. Come now, come. Hey, yeah. But I'm telling you, when you've got a dad that's present, regardless of, I'm gonna say, of the time that they were there, if that makes sense. Like, because as I said, you were meant to be there every Sunday and give money every Sunday. He did not.
Yeah.
Right? But it didn't matter to me.
It doesn't matter.
It didn't matter.
To the child.
It never mattered to me. I know it might have mattered to my mom and it might have been difficult for her.
Of course.
And I understand that. And I'm not trying to disregard that. I'm not condoning that. But what I'm saying is, you then have to think about, and my mom reminds me of that to this day. I just remember how much your dad meant to you.
That's
Do you understand? So my mom never let no other man come in to play daddy. And she, like, to this day, her ex-boyfriend, but two of her ex-boyfriends in particular, I was really close to, Richard and Devon. I have to say that. You know, you have to say the name with the accent too. Richard and Devon.
Real OG names.
Yeah, real OG names. You understand? Yeah. Richard was like, I love Richard, man. He was like, when I was young, he was there. He was a good guy. And Devon was like the latter part of my life. And like, again, good guy. Love Devon. I still speak to him to this day. I can call him now and say, Devon, D, what go on? I need a little something. And D would be like, yeah, D, don't worry yourself, but come.
Good. Because just to touch, sorry, we'll speak to dads that also took on as well. We want all that conversation as well.
And he had his own children.
Heroes.
He had his own children, and he was there in the house, and he was a very nice man. You understand? There was times where I could be behaving a certain way, but he couldn't come in and tell me nothing because my mum would never allow the thing. You understand?
Yeah.
But he would still come and talk to me. He'd be like, listen, your mum don't want me to talk to you and say nothing to you, but you went mad. You did a madness there. You know your mum's state. And I'd be like, and yeah, it's, you know what I mean? And who my dad would come in, my dad would just come in and say, hey, listen, hey, OD. And him and Devon were close, a good friend as well. And I'd be like, I just love that.
Yeah.
And that's how it was. My family dynamic is the most dysfunctional, functioning family you will ever come across. Yeah.
But is it dysfunctional or is it your way?
It's dysfunctional if you came in and looked at it, because you might come in and see, like, the only woman that my dad married, which was one set of my siblings, mum, right? That's Mummy Nikki. But Mummy Nikki it weren't my mum that had us all under the roof. It was Mummy Nikki who had us all under the roof.
Okay.
And that's why I want to speak to our women and understand that, like, no matter what my dad did, Mummy Nikki never took it out on us.
Didn't matter.
She never took it out on the children, ever. And it made the other women, including my mum, step up and say, well, I'm not going to be the idiot woman who's going to cause a conflict. You know what I mean? My mum and Mummy Nikki are good friends to this day. And that's down to Mummy Nikki.
Beautiful.
To this day, that is my second mum. It wasn't my mum and dad who came to my school. It was my mum and Mummy Nikki.
Yeah.
When I got in trouble, they came up to my school.
That's lit.
You understand? So that's why for me, I know I can speak to women. I know that I can speak to men because I am a man. Yeah? And I grew up with a man in my life and other men in my life, uncles.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this is blood uncles as well as non-blood. You understand? And my dad was there and is still there to this day. And I had brothers.
Yeah.
Like other men in my life to this day, like me and you, Danny's my little brother.
Yeah, mad.
You understand?
Mad, small. 6, something like that. Do you want a drink? Let me get you a drink. You're on the TV, let me get you a drink.
I wasn't even on the TV then.
Yeah,
you knew me before I was on the TV.
That's right. Yeah, we can get into all that shit. Then experience.
But the point is, Dan, that's what makes the difference. That's what allows us to sit here and actually talk, because I see you grow. And you saw me show vulnerability. You didn't see me show up and just try to be this version of a man.
No.
You saw me with your sister. You saw me with women around you. You saw how I behaved.
A lot still.
Yeah, don't say like that. That sounds like man was doing something. Yeah. He means he saw me with a lot of women, because
we used to dance,
in our line of work, there was a lot of women.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? The younger ones coming up. So you saw, and I'm not saying that I always navigated that correctly, because we know about certain things. Let's not talk about that. Yeah, I'm not saying that we navigated that correctly at all times, but I owned it.
Yeah.
And those things is what I think women have to, our queens have to understand, and our kings. We have to take ownership. We've got to take responsibility and accountability.
For everything.
For your part.
I was gonna say.
For your part. Dan, listen. You're responsible for yours, and I'm going to give that to you.
Yeah, that's
And if I can't give it to you directly, I'm going to pass it to the universe, and the universe will make sure it gets to you.
That's it.
And by the universe, I mean God, for those of you that are religious, right? For me, I have to take ownership for my responsibility and my accountability.
And only then is when you can move forward.
It's the only time.
Otherwise, you're trapped. See what I wanted to touch on there, yeah? was, well, I don't know how much time you got, was the fact that you once Dad came,
Yeah.
nothing mattered.
Nothing
mattered. I've heard circumstances where it's being taken out on the children are in mum's custody.
Yes.
Children are with mum.
Majority of the time, 1000%.
Majority of the time. And through mum's anger, pain, whatever it be.
Frustration,
scared that you're going to do the same to the children, whatever it is.
Understandably.
It's just.
Understandably.
Sometimes it's just. You know, we're not here to say it's not just. Through that, can then separate the children from the dad. I've heard circumstances where man can't see their kids. I've heard circumstances where, like, I ain't heard from my kids for a while. I've gone to the house and they've moved. I tried to phone the phone, I can't get through. How is that right? How is that right? That's impossible to be right, yeah. That's beyond dad. It's pain in dad, it is. But you're in so much pain, you can't even see that's pain in Ziggy. Imagine Ziggy never was able to sit there and tell that story that dad came to the window because you decided to move because dad's a dickhead. Now Ziggy hasn't gone through that experience. So it's a case of mums that do that. I think it's a bit techie. Both parents are needed. Do you see what I'm saying? And the kid going through that growing up and that upbringing wants both. Because we're gonna bring both.
It's not the one is almost irrelevant. Because the one is something that can change.
Yeah.
Because you may want your dad, but your dad truly is a waste man, or you may want your mum and your mum truly is a waste gal. Do you know what I mean? But they need their mum and dad. They need to show up. They need them to show up and be a leading example of what it looks like.